This is the first episode ever without our boy Ash and Pikachu. Yo, what's up everyone? Treyman1 here. Welcome back to another Pokémon Journeys anime review. Today we're covering episode 32. As you know, we got the great new opening today. I made a video covering that yesterday, but now it's actually time to talk about the episode itself. And I gotta say, the opening really did overshadow this episode a lot. Like, my goodness, the opening was so great, but the episode, it was just alright. Like, I do love the story, but there's some kind of, I don't know how I feel about this episode. I'm gonna go ahead and get into the summary real quick, and then I'll give my full thoughts. This episode is our first episode without Ash Ketchum, so this was already such a different twist. It starts off with Go taking a trip with his family, and I do have to say I love the moments with Go and his family. As we know, they mentioned earlier that they never get too much time to spend with Go because they're always working, but seeing that they actually do take some time out to spend with him is nice. Unfortunately, though, they are tired from their drive, so they end up falling asleep, and that's where Go, Reboot, and Sobble decide to head out to catch some Pokemon. And we get to see some nice, cool Pokemon, like Ash's 6th member right here, Dunsparce. He's catching this thing. Let's go. But nah. Basically, as Go is kind of walking around through this area, he's sad, and he keeps having flashbacks. This is when it then cuts to the past, where we see 7-year-old Go, and how he met he assumed to be his friend, Tokyo. Go ends up finding a Pokemon, and ends up thinking that's Mew, so he ends up chasing it. And this is where him and Tokyo end up having their first encounter, where Tokyo is actually like Go, where he wants to meet a mythical Pokemon too, being Celebi. So the two decide that they're gonna basically spend the day looking for Celebi, because Go has actually met Mew before, while Tokyo has never met Celebi. And on paper, this does sound pretty good. Like, these kids going on an adventure to find Celebi. As we know, the story writer said Go shows up the next day, but Tokyo never appears. So I'm thinking the boy ends up meeting Celebi, but sadly, that doesn't end up being the case, which makes this episode kind of weird in my opinion. But other than that, Go pulls out the freaking Mew Tracker 3000 out here. My goodness, my boy got all the technology. Nah, I'm just joking. But no, this is a little thing to track Mew, and he's using it to help find Celebi as well. I thought that was pretty cool. Go ends up deciding to run off to go and fetch something, and Tokyo's kind of sad because he's like thinking that Go's just abandoning him. But once Go comes back with Sunflora to help them cut the grass, they both say, "Oh yeah, I never break promises. Like, you have my word." And basically, they gain each other's trust. But that does play back later on in this episode, which I find it pretty interesting that, Go is so happy to have this friend now. When in episode 1, when we saw him at 6, Chloe was like, if you don't stop being such a smart head, you're not going to make any friends. Go was like, I don't need any friends. I got my knowledge. As I made a video discussing this, actually, it's about how Ash has impacted Go. I do recommend you check it out. It's in the cards. But yeah, it's so interesting to see why Go said you're like one of those guys in episode 3. Like, this is the episode that caused him to say that. But after all their hard work, they end up just deciding to look at the stars and just think about Pokemon in general, because they unfortunately couldn't find Celebi. And I gotta say, these were some pretty nice scenes. It's starting to get late and cold, so the two made a promise that they would keep searching the next day. Obviously, Go is so super excited. He's finally made his first real friend other than Chloe. He comes back, but Tokyo doesn't show up. And this really gets to Go, because he's like, you lied, basically. Like, you told me you keep your word, that we were true friends. I show up, I wait for you all day, you don't show up. And it's just such a sad moment for Go, actually. It comes back to present day, where Go's like, oh yeah, it's all good, it's all good. He like, I like how Reboot and Sobble were so concerned with Go's feelings in this episode. But he decides to catch Pokemon, which I really do take Go catching Pokemon, like, why his goal is to catch so many Pokemon is kind of a symbolism where, Go couldn't really make friends before. And so he's catching all these Pokemon to make up for that. Like, he says to Scyther and Farfetch, oh, I know I can always rely on you guys. You guys are always there for me. And like, he just, really focused on the Pokemon. He ends up running into an Ariados and a Pineco, 2 Pokemon he ended up running into with Tokyo. And he's just having these flashbacks of Tokyo. And I'm really liking the symbolism here with Go catching Pokemon. Like, it's really starting to add up and make more sense why he's so obsessed with catching. But yeah, basically after that, he ends up finding the Celebi shrine as well. At the shrine, Go actually ends up finding a note from Tokyo of why he never showed up that day. It appears that Tokyo actually got sick, which was foreshadowed too, because he's like, I feel really cold. Apparently he had caught a fever, and he really didn't want to go, but he was just too sick to go. And unfortunately, that's why he had left Go. But he did come back the next year, and he found the shrine, but he just felt so bad and just decided to leave Go this letter, hoping that he reads it or finds it one day. He also mentions that he was asking Celebi to please send him back like 1 year prior so that he could meet up with Go that day, keep his promise. But unfortunately, the Celebis never showed up. And I was like, man, I really did like how this was handled. But then the weird part is, cut to present day, Go's sad, and then Tokyo appears with a Chikorita. And I'm just like, hold on, wait, excuse me? Like, in my opinion, it felt a little too convenient for Tokyo to be here right now. Now, they could be building up to something bigger, though. Because the thing is, Chikorita is in the ending song standing with Yamper and Comfey. And as we know, Yamper is Chloe's. We see Ash and Go's Pokemon. So, I assume that Chikorita and Tokyo actually may play a bigger role in the series. They may be recurring characters that, we might just see them every once in a while looking for Celebi. Which, if that's the case, then this is a great setup. But at the same time, I don't know, it's just kind of, I feel like it would have been better if this was a two-parter. Because the way it just ends is like, Tokyo appears, he's like, I have so much I need to tell you. The two walk up to each other, and it just cuts to two Celebis, one being shiny, which one is a reference to, Coco. Which, also, I didn't like how Celebi was handling this episode either, to be honest, because they didn't even meet Celebi. I do like how this is different from last year's Alola Celebi episode, where we get to see Ash go back to Kukui. But I thought the plot would have been the next day, Tokyo met Celebi, but Celebi took Tokyo to present day. And this is where Go finds Tokyo, and he's like, yo, I was sent here to Celebi. Like, I think that would have been a cool plot. I don't know, that's just me. Like, I will admit, it's nice to see them finally reunite and everything, but it just leaves so many questions. Like, there should be a second part. Because next week's episode is focused on something totally different. Go trading Pokemon, Ash is back. There's no reference of Tokyo. So I feel like there should have been more. Either the episode should have been longer, or should have been a two-parter where we really got to see what Tokyo's purpose is. Because to me, this episode, it feels like Tokyo's just a character of the day, and this is it. Yeah, I know his Pokemon is in the ending, which means he may actually return later, but I don't like how they handled his appearance in this episode. It was a great development episode for Go, though. Like, I do like that we got to see his past and learn how and why he's like this. But I don't know, that just the whole Tokyo appearing at the end kind of leaves me on a bad note, and that's why I gotta say this episode's just all right. Like, it's not a bad episode, and it's not a great one. It's just an all right episode. If Celebi played some type of role, then I think it would have been much better and made a lot more sense. And this way, after Go helps young Tokyo get back to his timeline, then he meets current Tokyo. He's like, thank you, bro. But because it's just so convenient how Tokyo comes to the shrine this day. That's just my opinion. But yeah, if you all want to check this episode out, go ahead. The opening was, in my opinion, the better part of this week, though. Like, this episode was just all right. I'm hoping we get better Go-focused episodes in the future. And also, from the preview, it looks like Team Rocket actually got that more Pico, so that's going to be pretty hype. But that's all I can really say for this episode. In the comment section down below, let me know what y'all thought. I'd love to hear. And please let me know what you think of this opening, because that opening, oh my goodness, is so amazing, so hype. But as for this episode, yeah, it's kind of mixed for me. But yeah, thank you all for watching, everyone. I hope you all enjoyed. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. TreyMan1. Peace out.